It's been a while since I've made one of these videos, and I wanted to focus on a fun category for this video. Who's the scariest assassin? Now, what do I mean by this exactly? Imagine you are a Templar, and you see one of these hooded figures coming at you. Which one is most likely to give you a heart attack and kill you by just looking at you? Which one would you just run away from and not even try to fight? That is what we are going to be discussing in today's video. And like always, we are only talking about the protagonists of the series and those that were actual assassins, so Eivor, Shay, and the demigods aren't part of this, and I decided to include Bayek because he's a hidden one. And of course, this is all just my opinion, and feel free to put who you think the scariest assassin is and why down in the comments. Now, let's start with the Fry twins. I decided to talk about them first because, well, to me, they obviously aren't the scariest. I think if anything, they'd annoy me more than scare me with Jacob's bad jokes, or the two of them just bickering. In all seriousness though, it's not like they aren't highly skilled and deadly, but compared to the other titans on this list, they really don't come close in my opinion. In fact, if I were a Templar, I think I'd rather take my chances with the Fry twins than any of the others, although there are two of them, which is pretty unfair, but they rarely ever fight together, so one-on-one, not as big a threat. Next up is Ezio. Now Ezio, I would imagine, is pretty terrifying to go up against, not just in his fighting and physical capabilities, but also his smarts and wisdom, especially if we're talking about the Ezio from Brotherhood and Revelations. And even though Ezio is old and gray in Revelations, I still think that's the scariest version of him to face. The amount of experience alone would terrify me. I mean, just look at what he did to all those Templars in the cinematic trailer. Yeah, if we fight Ezio, you can count me out. Now, does that mean he's the scariest? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, he's definitely up there as a contender. Next up, we have Bayek. Yeah, I definitely run away if I see Bayek. Not only is he crazy strong and smart, but he's got tons of experience as well. He was a Medjay. He's the literal co-founder of the Hidden Ones. Not to mention, he's constantly angry and seeking vengeance for his son. One of the first big assassinations of the game is actually one of the scariest things I've seen in this whole series.
Is nobody.
Bayek could be the starting role in his own Assassin's Creed horror movie. So you see Bayek, just run away. Don't even bother trying to fight. Edward Kenway also has a pretty good case for the scariest assassin. He can clear out entire ships on his lonesome, and he's also a pirate and an assassin, which is a pretty scary combination to go up against, especially if you see that black flag when you're just sailing the Caribbean. I think Edward has a pretty good case, but I just don't know if he's up there with the best of the best. Altair, oh boy. This man is a menace to any Templars or anybody that stands in his way. He's extremely skilled and he has the ruthless killer instinct to go with it. I mean, I remember in AC1, he'd execute every person he interrogates just to have no witnesses. And most assassins in this series never went that far. Like, I remember Connor getting upset that Haytham executed the Redcoats after interrogating them, and it just shows that Altair is willing to become a monster to complete his mission. Definitely a contender for scariest assassin. Next is Arno, who to me is clearly not the scariest. Now, I'm not saying I would fight him, but compared to some of the others we've already talked about, like Ezio, Altair, Bayek, Arno certainly isn't that level of scary and intimidating. And finally, Connor Kenway. I would like to show Exhibit A. And Exhibit B. Connor is a one-man wrecking ball. It doesn't matter who you are or how strong you are. It doesn't matter if you have an entire army. Connor is going to steamroll right through you. He's terrifying, and we are so lucky we're the ones playing as him, so we can inflict the fear rather than face it. Connor almost reminds me of the assassin version of Batman. Not to mention, he's a pretty big guy and insanely strong, so I don't know why so many redcoats are insistent on fighting him after they just witnessed him slaughter an entire battalion. Connor is definitely a contender for the scariest assassin. My top 3 for scariest assassin would be Altair, Connor, and Bayek. It could easily be either one of these 3, and I would think most people would agree with that. Initially, I was thinking I would choose Connor, but I thought about it a bit more, and yes, Connor is absolutely terrifying. But after rewatching that scene of Bayek bashing that one guy's head in, I feel like it has to be Bayek. Sure, he's a strong fighter and has tons of experience, but his rage makes him way more horrifying. A lot of the ways he kills the people responsible for his son's death are super brutal. He wants them to suffer and for them to feel pain before they die, rather than quickly assassinate them with the hidden blade, and that's what makes Bayek so much scarier compared to the other assassins. But if you guys agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. Again, I feel it could just as easily be Connor or Altair as well, but feel free to leave some suggestions for what category of the assassins you'd like to see me make a video on next. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you considered leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you're new here. I make loads of Assassin's Creed videos, so I'd really appreciate that. But other than that, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day, Assassins.